Governor Andy Beshear gives an update on flood relief efforts and how the Team Eastern Kentucky flood relief funding is being spent. And several people remain in the hospital after the school bus crash in Magoffin County, but the community is supporting those involved with donations.
Plus, I hope you like winter because it's going to feel like it through the weekend. The full breakdown on the way coming up as Mountain News at 6 starts now.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 6.
In his weekly Team Kentucky update, Governor Andy Beshear gave us a deeper look at flood relief for Eastern Kentuckians and announced big funding for local school districts and physical courts. WYMT's Dakota Makris reports on the governor's update.
Governor Andy Beshear says 2,221 Eastern Kentucky renters and homeowners are missing out on FEMA aid because they have missed out on property inspections or phone calls from the agency. He urged those people to head to one of 7 disaster recovery centers soon because those sites close on Tuesday, November 22nd.
FEMA's given us these statistics to try to get folks to be able to perfect their claim. In other words, to get the money that they need.
To date, FEMA has paid out more than $88 million in aid and has approved more than 4,000 applications out of the more than 16,000 submitted.
National Flood Insurance Programs paid out $23.7 million. U.S. Small Business Association, $55.8 million.
13 Perry County properties were approved for FEMA's Property Acquisition Program. It's a voluntary program where the agency will buy a person's property if it is located in an area where it may be unsafe to rebuild.
The project protects the community from the direct impact of severe storm events. And remember, if you live in a dangerous area and FEMA helps you one time, you may not be able to qualify the next.
The governor announced funding to local school districts from the Eastern Kentucky Safe Fund. $3.2 million is going to Knott County schools and $6.2 million is going to Letcher County schools for financial support after the flood.
There are schools in Letcher County and in most counties were also the place to go to get the much needed essentials. And what'd you see there? You saw our educators.
More than $900,000 was awarded to the Knott County Fiscal Court to cover a FEMA match and employ a floodplain planner. Dakota Makris, WYMT Mountain News.
The governor also announced more than $200,000 was awarded to the Knott County Water and Sewer District. Also during his Team Kentucky update, Governor Beshear said as of this morning, Kentucky has had 369 forest fires this fall. Those fires equate to more than 29,000 acres having burned during the fire season, which began October 1st. Forestry agencies from Virginia, South Carolina, Mississippi, Pennsylvania, and Texas sent crews to help assist in extinguishing the recent fires. Several Kentucky National Guard soldiers flew into Lexington today and were reunited with their family members on their way back to Eastern Kentucky. The Mountain Warriors were sent overseas to Kosovo in January. Nearly 1 year after being deployed, they are home for the holidays. Soldiers shared the emotional homecoming with their families.
First, I was getting off the plane, I was nervous, and then just kind of, I don't know, I was in go mode, ready to go and find her.
Yeah, it all went away once we were able to touch. Yeah. That's when everything just was you can breathe again.
Family members and loved ones say they are proud of the work they have accomplished, and soldiers say they are fortunate to have worked with this group of Kentucky Guardsmen. Months after the historic flooding hit the region, many folks are still trying to find their footing. One mission in Pike County joined forces with an out-of-state helper to try and lift some of that burden before the holidays. WYMT's Buddy Forbes was there as 2 truckloads of supplies rolled in to aid in the region's recovery.
2 trucks packed with provisions.
I'm grateful for it, really am.
Helping hundreds of families find sustenance, supplies, and stability.
They can't do their bills and their fixing homes and holidays and everything at once. They can't. It just ain't possible to do.
After the July floodwaters poured through the area serviced by Manna from Heaven Outreach in Pike County,
coming up with supplies and everything they need to get their lives back.
Many families are still just trying to keep their heads above as the holidays approach and the water-stained worries remain.
These people here, some of them lost everything, ain't got nothing.
The outreach received a donation Thursday, more than $80,000 in supplies from Virginia-based Rockingham Cooperative.
It shocked me, and they said they was bringing stuff in, food in here to help the people and stuff.
Have a blessed day.
And it's helping tremendously.
As cars waited for hours to fill a need by filling their trunks.
This is great. It helps a lot of people that's on fixed incomes, you know, and groceries as high as they are, so it helps out a lot.
Many say the help came at the perfect time. Thankful to the cooperative and an outreach that is always working to provide for its people.
I tell you what, Lois is doing a good thing here for these people. She sure really is.
But Outreach founder Lois Tackett said it has never been about a handout.
That's all they need, a little manna from heaven.
It is about joining hands to rise up. In Pike County, Buddy Forbes, WYMT Mountain News.
Tackett says the help from Rockingham Cooperative was a godsend, and any other help is always welcome, be it donations or volunteers. If interested, you can contact Tackett at 606-213-8007.
Well, in many locations, it's officially freezing out there now as temperatures continue to drop into the lower 60s or well below that, the low 30s out there. As we head into the nighttime hours, we're still at freezing here in Hazard. There's a view of our parking lot, dry at the moment from our front door here in WYMT. And the last of the sun's rays falling below the mountain there in Whitesburg. We're all down and below freezing in many spots, especially along and north of the Highway 80 Hal Rogers Parkway corridor, already at freezing. And we're going to be falling into the 20s for many as we run through tonight. It's all quiet on Pinpoint Doppler. Yes, it is in motion. Just nothing going on out there. We will continue to see quiet conditions through the night. Those breezy conditions will eventually calm down. We're in the mid-20s for overnight lows tonight. Details on when we return to perhaps closer to average in a few minutes. Steve?
Evan, thanks. After a school bus crash injured 19 people in Magoffin County, people near and far are sending donations to support their recovery. WYMT's Chandler Wilcox tells us how the community is coming together to help families impacted by the crash.
Gift cards and checks are getting into the hands of families impacted by the bus crash earlier this week, most of it filing into the Magoffin County Board of Education.
We are pretty well the central intake place for those. We're seeing a lot of gift cards for restaurants, gas stations, a lot of Visa cards.
The fundraising has come from those in the community lending a helping hand, and even those in different areas who saw the news.
I had been contacted by several people throughout the state, fellow judges throughout the state, other people that I know throughout the state asking how they could help.
One announcement is all it took for donations to start pouring in.
After I made that post, I had raised close to $10,000. So, and it's still going on.
Each donation is set to go out to families as soon as possible.
We have set aside a process here to account for all of that and to make certain that we are responsible with that and getting that distributed to the families in need during this time.
There are also counselors at schools providing any help students and staff may need.
We have been offering supports through different counseling services. We've had various agencies reach out within the county and outside as well. And we've just basically coordinated that through our schools with our principals.
Superintendent Meadows says 7 students and the driver remain hospitalized. In Magoffin County, Chandler Wilcox, WYMT Mountain News.
Magoffin County schools closed today. That was due to icy road conditions early this morning, but officials say they plan to reopen tomorrow. The superintendent of Cumberland Gap National Historical Park will serve in the same role at the new River Gorge National Park and Preserve in West Virginia. Charles Sellers will also manage Gauley River National Recreation Area and Bluestone National Scenic River in southern West Virginia. Sellers has also had roles at Tennessee's Fort Donelson National Battlefield and National Cemetery, Big South Fork National River and Recreation Area, and the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. Bluegrass Care Navigators is expanding to open a 7th regional office. The new location will service residents in Pike, Magoffin, and Floyd counties. Bluegrass Care Navigators provides hospice care, including physical, personal, emotional, and spiritual care to patients and families who are no longer receiving treatments to cure their terminal illness. The organization is a nonprofit that does not turn folks away based on their ability to pay for services. 22 people were recently arrested in Laurel County. Now they're facing various drug charges. The drug roundup was labeled Operation Oktoberfest 2022 by the Laurel County Sheriff's Office. The 22 people face charges ranging from trafficking meth, possession of heroin, meth, hydrocodone, cocaine, and drug indictment warrants, probation violations, being persistent felony offenders, and/or complaint warrants. For a list of all those arrested, you can go to WYMT.com and just look for this story. Also in Laurel County, police are asking for your help finding 2 suspects they believe are involved in a recent burglary. We're told Josh Shelby and Mallory Saylor Lively are accused of taking guns and gun-loading equipment, a Nintendo Switch, and several items of clothing. The owner of the items is offering a $1,000 reward for information leading to the arrests of Shelby and Saylor Lively and the recovery of the items. If you have any information, you're asked to contact the Sheriff's Office by phone, Facebook, email, or by the Sheriff's Office cell phone app.
Well, winter's chill is making a preview as we head through this weekend. The full breakdown on the way after this. Plus,
some team members lost everything during the July flood, but that did not stop the Letcher County dance team from bringing home first place at a regional competition.
WYMT News app offers alerts on breaking stories as they happen.